Welcome back, everyone. We are live again, and our second guest today is Jen Campbell. She has cultivated a personal network to impact millions of people on social media through her personal brand. She was chosen and recognized by Facebook for the North American Community Leaders Summits in 2019, 2020, and 2021. She's a certified Facebook community manager, and she believes that your personal brand is more than logos, colors, or a tagline. It's about you as a person. She believes personal branding is not just for celebrities. Brand you before others do. Please welcome our guest, personal brand strategist, Jen Campbell.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share who I am and my message with other people out there. It's a fantastic opportunity.
You're welcome, Jen. Thank you so much.
I have a slide presentation that I'm going to do, and sometimes things don't always go according to plan. But today it looks like they're going to. So that is a beautiful thing. Like you mentioned earlier, I'm Jen Campbell, and I live in McCall, Idaho. And you probably haven't heard about it before because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And Idaho is in the middle of the United States in the Rocky Mountains. I have less than 3,000 people in my community. And just to give you an idea how much in the middle of nowhere it is, it's about 2 hours away from the nearest mall or big box store like Walmart, and from Chick-fil-A restaurant where I can drive to have a market salad with the zesty apple cider vinaigrette, which is my absolute favorite thing. And here's the fantastic thing about that. Living in a small community like I do, I still have the ability to impact the rest of the world through social media. And that is an absolutely fantastic thing. Part of what brought me to the journey that I have today is using social media to be able to influence people online. And I've been able to do that for myself as well as for my clients that I have. Here's the thing about social media. Authenticity is everything. And sometimes we might look perfect or we're pulled together like this headshot that I have. And sometimes we're a little bit cringy. And I am the cringy mom. So what the heck does that mean? What is cringe? If you have teenagers like I do, I have 4 boys. The first 3 are triplets, and they are in high school. And then I have another son that's 11 years old. And the last thing that they want is to be embarrassed. They don't want to stand out. They don't want to be different. And they call it cringe. And cringe is that secondhand embarrassment from what we used to call cheesy stuff. Like they don't want you to be nerdy or weird or different than anyone else, and they don't want you to stand out. But I do. And here's the thing, that's part of me. That's part of my personal brand. And I think all of us have a little bit of that cringe in us. And then that next level of it is being cringy. All right. So I had a defining moment recently where I decided that I was going to embrace that cringe and be the cringy mom, because that's all sorts of next level. And I'm going to show this quick video of a video that I've posted on social media. Looks stupid, right? But if I point like this, and this, and this, it's a TikTok. And I need to do this to make money and increase my social following. And if you look at it, it's around the screen. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? So that is the epitome, not just of cringe, but of cringy. All right, that's taking it to a whole new level. And when I looked up the definition of cringy, this is a legit definition of what it said. Cringy is when someone makes you and everyone around you cringe so much that they're cringy. And the example they give is it's your mom dancing weirdly in the street. OMG, mom, you are so cringy. And this was back in 2019, before I even really knew what cringe was. I was being cringy. I was the cringy mom. And I still am. And being vulnerable like that and having that cringy mom moment where I'm so cringy, I don't even know that there is an E in cringy. It's actually CRINGEY. Having that cringy mom moment was the time that I said, you know what? I don't sing. I don't dance. In fact, that's the last thing that I want to do. And I just did it randomly because I was explaining to my husband, because he saw me out there in the middle of the street with my tripod. Okay, there, I'm going to get back to the place when he saw me in the middle of the road. I had my tripod there and I was recording content. I was putting myself out there because the thing is, I hadn't wanted to do that, even though I've built a personal brand on social media, because it's so important, even though authenticity is my number one core value, that we don't want to be seen necessarily or be embarrassed. And I post that video to one of my Facebook groups with other people in my mastermind. And I said, I've got the other ones I'm going to post online, but I made this just for you because it's really funny. And it pretty much epitomizes what it's like to be on TikTok or making that short form video content. You point at the sky, you point at the side, you point at the bottom, and you put the words, all of the words, to be able to emphasize the thing, and you feel silly. And being over 40, especially, what does that mean? Well, I'm not doing it for just anyone else. I am doing it to be able to grow my business and my personal brand. I'm doing it so people know, like, and trust me. And famous salesperson and sales trainer Bob Berg said, all things being equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, they like, and they trust. And that's everything. Because if we see someone on social media and they're not showing up authentically, in the back of our minds, we think, I don't know you, I don't like you, and I don't trust you. And having the ability to have an international audience and platform, especially if you're a coach or consultant, is a fantastic thing. I've been able to work on personal brand strategy with people for their social media and create that authentic brand for them online, everywhere from Canada to South Africa. And living in the middle of that 3,000 person town in Idaho that's far away from everything, I have been able to create that sense of connection and belonging through social media. And that's something I'm going to help you work on as well today. And like I mentioned before, the key to that is authenticity. And authenticity means that you show up as yourself, wherever you are, as the real, legit you. And authenticity is huge. In fact, it's so big that when people were surveyed what they thought about brands and what the most important thing that they saw in brands when it came to their advertising and their content on social media, 9 out of 10 of them, or over 90%, said, we want authenticity. We want to see the real brand. We want to hear the real story. We don't want anything fake. We want to see real people in the advertisement too. But here's the thing. When they said our brand's being authentic, they said that only 5 out of 10 are being authentic. So that creates a huge disconnect. And it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. And there's actually over 43 quintillion. I mean, look at all these numbers here. 43 quintillion combinations on a Rubik's Cube. And we have that Rubik's Cube. Usually we're just showing one side of who we are instead of that whole multifaceted dimension of who we are as human beings on social media. And this is what happens. We get a friend request from someone. And I want you to type yes in the chat for this. Have you ever gotten a friend request from a person that looks like this? And you look at that and they kind of creep you out a little bit. And you're like, I have no idea who you are. I want you to type yes in the chat. I want you to type yes if you've ever creeped someone's profile before and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is totally creepy. I don't want them to be friend. I don't know them. I don't like them. And I don't trust them. And that's because you know they're not showing up authentically. And this is a friend request that I got just a few days ago. And this is what's happening. You're going to miss, they're thinking, I'm knocking on that Facebook door to your profile. I'm ringing that doorbell and they're missing my awesome. And that happens to me sometimes, even though I have the picture. So what is your personal brand? I define personal branding as how you see yourself, how you want to be seen, and how others see you. And showing up with authenticity and making sure how you see yourself and how you want to be seen and how others see you completely aligns. When it doesn't, that's when that disconnect comes in and people get canceled. We need to embrace that cringe. So what is cringe? I define cringe is, and when you're making content that's super cringy, we need to cringe forward. We create, we're resilient, we make that content for the ideal audience, that we never edit who we are, that we grow our content and our following, and that we establish ourselves in the marketplace through our content for our business. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about that E, and that includes establishing your authenticity. Got to take a drink because I get thirsty because I start talking really fast here. That includes your name, your image and picture that you have online, and your title, right? It is your brand identity as well, like the colors and everything. And I'm only going to talk about a few of those things today, a couple of them, because there's so much to share on that. And I post about a lot of short form video content on social media where I have other things on that. So let's start with your name. All right. Who are you? Just like you would fill out on a hello, my name is networking meeting, you know, those little stickers that you used to tag on there. And I am Jen Campbell, a personal brand strategist. But the thing about Jen or Jennifer is the third most common name in the United States. All right. There are tons of other women out there in all sorts of shapes and sizes who are Jennifer. So how do I make sure they have the right one? How do I make sure they have the right Jen Campbell? Because Campbell is the 43 most common last name in the United States. And if I lived in Scotland, it would be even more common. You want to know that this is the legit Jen Campbell. So the way that I do that is I brand myself the same on every social media platform. And I have the same social media handle at Jen Campbell Teaches. So on Instagram, I'm at Jen Campbell Teaches. On my Facebook business page, I'm at Jen Campbell Teaches. On Instagram, I'm at Jen Campbell Teaches. And on LinkedIn, I'm at Jen Campbell Teaches. I'm Jen Campbell wherever I am. And it's consistent pictures. It's consistent messaging. It's consistent hashtags and websites as well. I am who I am, no matter where I am. And people recognize my picture. I don't recognize people's pictures sometimes when they come up. And that does not establish that authenticity. This is another person who friend requested me. Here's the thing, you guys, you're not a cat. So why are you showing up on Facebook and on your profiles as a cat? I don't know you. I don't like you. And I don't trust you if you show up as a cat. And this happened to me once. I was at a conference and I met someone who followed me and read my blog. And they're like, Jen Campbell, you're so awesome. Jen Campbell. Oh, it's so great to meet you in person. I'm okay. They didn't say exactly that, but that's what I heard. And they're all, oh, this is great. And when they left, I was like, that was a fantastic thing. And I turned to the person next and I said, who is that? I have no idea who that person is. And they said, oh, this is so-and-so. And I said, okay. And I looked at Facebook really quick to see if I could see their profile to connect. And their picture was a picture of a cat. And they had that lost opportunity because people connect with faces. They want to see us because that's how they know who we are a little bit more. And if we're not showing our face with a big smile facing forward on the camera, it's that lost opportunity. We're losing that opportunity to show up as who we are, as the legit us with our name that, hey, I'm Jen Campbell. And I'm showing you a picture, not of what I look like 20 pounds and 10 years ago. I'm showing up as how I am right now. And even though my body is imperfect, because none of us are perfect, maybe I've lost a little bit more hair since 10 years ago. Maybe I have more wrinkles. I know I have for both of those things. My husband's lost more hair than I have, but you know, that's how it goes. But I'm showing up as I am. I have my headshots on there, but it still looks like me. And I have my branding where I've got the red lipstick on, but it is who I am. So another thing that we can do is title ourselves. What do we call ourselves? For our professional title, right? We want to be who we are no matter where we are. So I call myself a personal brand strategist. And when you define who it is that you are, then you're going to restate that everywhere that you are at. Now, you can take part of what it is that you do and incorporate it on your Facebook profile page. Like if you look at this example right here, if I get back to it, I have my tagline, brand you before others do. I have what I do as a business consultant. I have my positioning statement on this one, and I have hashtags on this. So it's a little bit different for what I'm doing for every single social media platform, but I'm still showing up as I am. I'm letting people know what I do, and I'm reinforcing that personal brand no matter what I am. And that's something that you can do as well. One of the ways that you can do that, as well as with your social media profiles, is making sure that you get online and try to buy your domain name. Own your name. Okay, so what if you're Bob Smith, right? You're Robert Smith, and that's like the legit most common name in the United States. And Robert's a really common name other places. That's okay. You can say Bob Smith accountant because that positions you as an expert in accounting, or whatever, Bob Smith coach. Or maybe like my Facebook profile page, because there's so many other Jen Campbells out there, I titled it Hello Jen Campbell, because you can change your handle on your profile page on Facebook. So it's really easy to find you. And when I'm on something like this and I'm saying my name, I can say, go look for me at Hello Jen Campbell, because that's going to stick in your head. It's not like /596 whatever that's on my Facebook messaging. All right. I see I have so much to say, and I want to make sure that there's time if anyone has questions. People are feeling disconnected. Here's the thing. You're showing up as you. And especially if you are a coach or a consultant online, it's not about you. I mean, it's not about what you do. It's about the person in your personal brand. People are going to hire you because they know you, they like you, and trust you. You're embracing that cringe. You're creating that content that you're showing up and establishing your personal brand and your place in the market and what makes you unique and different than anyone else. And sometimes it might mean that, like me, I've branded myself now as I am the cringy mom, that I'm out there dancing in the streets sometimes, even though I don't really dance. Not to make a fool of myself, not to go viral, but I'm doing it to build a multi-six-figure business. I am the cringy mom because I am working to support the quality of life that I want for my family, to put my triplets through college, and 3 boys at once at the same time. I don't even want to know what that looks like. But I am the cringy mom and embracing my authentic personal brand because that's who Jen Campbell is. Jen Campbell is a personal brand strategist, but I'm also the cringy mom. So that's what I have to share with you today.
I love this. Thank you so much, Jen. I absolutely loved your presentation, and you are totally right that and I saw it also in my own experience that sometimes I hesitate to put myself entirely the way I am or the way I feel just because I don't know how people are going to see me.
Yes.
And
yes,
absolutely. And
so what's happened? Have you ever had an experience where like you've posted something on Facebook maybe and your feed blows up? And you've got like 50 million comments on that. Has that happened to you? I know it's happened to me, and I try not to be controversial. And here's the thing. I don't delete my stuff. I believe that words have power and I own what I post. So, they call it like a dirty delete. And I've done it like a couple times. No, I haven't even done it in a Facebook group because I am who I am no matter where I am. And sometimes I say things that I shouldn't say. So I'll own it and I'll say edited. And I'll be like, okay, so you misinterpreted what I said. This is what I really meant. I'm sorry if I offended you. But if you're seeking first for understanding, like Gandhi talks about, it's going to be less likely there's that disconnect. If you assume the good in people, because one of my core values, I believe that people are fundamentally good, that they don't intend to offend, even though they do. Ask for clarification. Be
Thank you
kind.
so much, Jen. What would you
Yeah.
say to those who are saying that putting yourself out there on social media is kind of a waste of time, that it doesn't really bring results?
2.7 billion with a B users on Facebook, the largest social media platform in the world. That is almost half. Well, okay, they say it's around 7 billion, but 2.7 billion are on Facebook. And maybe a couple of them have more than one profile, even though that's against the terms of service on Facebook. You have an opportunity to be on a huge platform. And it doesn't mean that you have to pay for a ton of ads. It doesn't mean that you have to be on all 8, and there are 8 of the top social media platforms, and it's constantly evolving and changing. And there's a lot out there. You don't have to be on every one, but knowing your ideal audience, which is like the I in cringe, will help you show up where your people are. Mine are on Facebook, which is a good thing because I am too, but they're also on TikTok because there's a lot of moms out there, those that are doing the content that's a little bit cringe, and they're there because they want their kids. They want to know what they're doing. And also they're recognizing there aren't a lot of people there that are making that short form video content, those little reels, those TikToks, to be able to say who they are. And every single algorithm, including on Pinterest, on Facebook, on YouTube, they are all pushing short form video content. So if you're out there first and you're making those short 15-second to 3-minute videos, and you keep creating that content, and you just embrace that you do feel awkward, and sometimes you stumble over your words and your lighting isn't right and you show your wrinkles, like I am working to do myself, people are going to love that because you're going to be different.
Thank you so much, Jen. I remember in one of my videos, especially at the beginning, I used to be very, very shy, and I was really afraid of appearing in public or speaking in public. And I remember that I was getting all red. And at some point I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. I would just tell them I'm getting red because I am shy, and that's it. I move on.
Yes. Yeah. A year. It took me a year since I started my personal brand strategy business in May 2020, right after the pandemic started, because I'm like, I'm going to spend my time doing what I love and have more joy in it. And I'd been thinking about transition. I'm like, okay, this is my thing. I love doing it. And, I took the classes. I read the books. I did the webinars. I can show you, like, I have like all of the studio lighting in my office, and I didn't post the content because I'd been a blogger. I loved my words. I could edit it. I could get it just right. I could have my flat graphics that were on there. Maybe I'd go out on a limb and do a little voiceover over that, but I didn't put myself out there. And it wasn't until I stood in that street and that was at the end of something that I was doing when I was trying to get the perfect light and everything and all these clips so that I could string them together to make the ideal reel, that I said, no, post it anyway. Embrace that cringe, because my goal and my mission is that no woman who wants her voice to be heard will be silent, because your message is worth knowing, your voice is worth hearing, and it's worth showing up to contribute who you are and your message to the world, to grow your business and for people to understand, because you don't know what little girl is out there that aspires to have what you have, that you could connect with them by showing up, cringe and all, on social media.
Thank you so much, Jen. I would like to close our talk today with some of the comments that we are receiving in the chat that I absolutely love.
Oh, I
And
love it. Oh, bring it on.
Nicole says, Jen is phenomenal. Personal branding is important for all of us. Vulnerability adds to your authenticity and makes you totally relatable, though it allows so much connection between us. Words do have power. This is Andrea, who says, I love your authenticity. Say that louder for the people in the back.
Right. Yeah. Authenticity. Show up as you. Show up with like the messy parts. Brene Brown talks about that all the time. Dude, I'm so not perfect. And this is how I talk. So when I even wrote a letter to say, hey, I want to be on your show because I think you're awesome, Diana. I want to share my message. I wrote my letter like that. It wasn't super formal. I was like, hey, girl, I love you. I've seen your stuff. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have two questions until our next guest enters the room. I will say them to you. I don't know if we will have time to answer them.
Okay. And if not, they can always message me at hello, Jen Campbell, and I'll make a reel or a TikTok or a short form video and I can share it on here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will pick the first one. How does a person figure out where their ideal client customer is?
Ooh, that is something that can be kind of tricky. I help people with that as a personal brand strategist, but starting with your brand values. When you say, okay, this is who I am, and I have, that's something you'll post later as like the giveaway that I have for people to be able to do their brands, their values. That's the first place. And the second, look at your existing clients. Think about who you've loved to work with, the people that like fill your bucket up and what you want to do. And you can do research about the demographics of where those people are. And it's when you post your content that people respond to it. Awesome. When it's legit stuff.
Thank you, Jen. And I see a question here at Hello Jen Campbell. Is this right? Is this where they can?
Yeah, that's my personal one, but everyone else, it's at Jen Campbell Teaches. So I'm at Jen Campbell Teaches for my business Facebook page that they can message me through that. And on Instagram, I'm on the TikTok. I don't have a lot of followers yet, but I'm showing up. So one person is all you need to be able to make a difference, to share your message.
Absolutely. I see also from Liz, loved this session. And Nicole is asking, other than cut profile photos, what other disconnects do you commonly see in someone's profile versus their overall brand?
Oh, that's huge. I had someone friend request me that had sharks. I'm like, dude, you're a shark? That scares me. I don't want you coming after me and like taking a chomp out of who I am and my business. I want you looking at the camera, facing forward, smiling, no sunglasses on, because people need to see your eyes and connect with you. I want to recognize you in person. I saw a friend from high school once and their pictures were so filtered, I didn't recognize them. We talk all the time and I wasn't able to connect with them when I saw them at the grocery store. So make sure that it looks like you, make sure that it's current, close headshot because it shows up small, and maybe reinforces your brand with your brand colors. You can have a cat if you're the cat lady.
Thank you so much, Jen. We keep in touch, and thank you. I am grateful for having you in this show. And thank you for all the wisdom and knowledge that you share with us.
Thank you so much, Diana. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.